Welcome back to Breakhard Orchard. It has turned out to be a pretty nice day. Now, it was raining cats and dogs for the last 2 days, and if you take a quick look around here, it's easy to see that we have pooled water all over the place. We have a lot of water up here. But the sun came out, it stopped raining about an hour and a half ago, and it's Saturday, so I got to figure something to do. Every one of these SIPS panels that goes up is going to have to get attached to the panel next to it. And sometimes they use what they call dimensional splines, and sometimes they use single splines. On this side of this panel, you're going to have a single dimensional spline. Every one of these is going to need a 2x6 cut to size. It's got to be foamed and sealed, put in, and nailed into place. I'm going to go ahead, cut the spline, cut that 2x6 spline, foam it, stick it in place, and nail it in there so that when it's time to rock and roll, I'm ready to go. This panel is an end panel. That spline is going to sit down in here, and this panel is going to go on the far end of the house, and this wall right here is going to butt up to it. It's going to come up to it from this side. So I'm going to fill this with foam. I'm going to sink this spline into it, and I'm going to nail it in from the sides. Wind has been giving me a hard time up here today, blowing tarps around and knocking things over. Pretty slick, good edge, perfect. And the best part is when I have other people up here helping me out and I'm starting to put panels into place, that's one that I won't have to do. The wind is really kicking up. It's a pain. We're having a lot of wind that's over 10 miles an hour. That's why I didn't burn today, because with all this rain, instead of trying to build and fighting this, I would have set some burn piles. But the wind is just too much. Burning that kind of weather, you're asking for trouble. Welcome back to Breakhard Orchard. Yesterday was so windy that it just drove me off of here. I was able to get a couple of the splines put into the panels. The wind started beating me up so bad that every time I tried to do something, it would push the panel down or try to push me over with the panel. Called it quits, went on home. Today, the sun is out, wind isn't quite so bad. Wife and I are up here. We're going to try to get about 4 or 5 panels put up. Wish us luck. This is how I die, trying to make a YouTube video. I'm gonna fall down and kill myself. So we inserted the splines, we foamed and inserted the splines all the way to the top. I'm gonna foam this channel right here, top and bottom. Foam the base, set it on top, hammer it in, nail it into place. All right, so that took us 40 minutes according to the GoPro. Whew. All right, let's do another one. So the next piece that goes in is a window. This is the piece we just put in is J21. I'm putting the spline in, that is the jack that will support the header. We've already built and inserted the header into the piece that goes over it. That's already in there. It's been sealed, inserted. We measured, did the math, and now I'm putting in the jack. That's in there now. And I'm going to cut the other jack. We're going to temporarily support that underneath of it and nail that other piece in. A lot of this is just making it up as you go, looking at it, trying to figure out what might be a good way to try something and get it done. What we are going to do first is put the bottom panel on. That's the bottom of the window. These J-bolts that are here sit up enough that that foam doesn't want to sit down on them. So instead of beating on them like crazy from the top, which you have to do anyway just to get things properly seated, it makes sense to go ahead and cut a recess in the bottom of the panel right there for them to sit down on that bolt. If we did this right, we should be able to get it all the way in here. Maybe if you can get that block and start hammering it from that side, you know, go off from the end, and we'll get it all the way in and then lower it down. Very nice, very nice. All right, things coming apart, huh? Yeah, let's try it over here. Could you give me another stack of these? So we have three 3x8 headers in this board, plus another 2x6 underneath of that. That's a lot of lumber, and this thing got heavy quick. There's no way we're going to be able to lift that up above our heads and hold it in place with just our normal strength. So I'm bringing the excavator over. We're going to hook the strap to the back of it, lift it up, bring it down so it's about right at the proper level, come in from the side, hammer it in, nail it in place, toe nail it to this one, and then bring the next panel up and connect it all. That is the plan. All right.
Right there, come help me. It's like right a little bit lower.
I did something wrong here.
Why?
I screwed this up. I screwed this up. Yep. These headers, this whole assembly has to come all the way out to here. I got to cut all that out.
What do you mean?
Baby, this thing is supposed to be all the way out to here. This wood, the header, I screwed it up. I built it wrong. There's no way to fix it except to cut it out and redo it. I screwed it up. That's it.
Well, I don't understand.
This goes underneath of this. This has to go all the way into the wall.
So you have to make a whole new header.
I have to make a whole new header, cut that out, and replace it. I screwed this up. That piece of wood right here, which is the same dimension as the header, sits on top. Yep. That sits on top. So it has to sit on top of the jack. Well, I said I was going to be honest when I make mistakes, and today I made a doozy. I thought we were on a roll. I thought we were going to have probably 5 pieces of the house put up today. Instead, we have 2 because I've got to repair what I screwed up. I built the header wrong. I screwed up. There's nothing else I can say. I'm gonna pay for it. I'm gonna hear about it for a while. I got a feeling. Every time she does something that I don't like, I'm gonna hear about that darn header. I screwed up. Measured twice, cut once. I measured. I was measuring the wrong thing. We're gonna go ahead and pack everything up. The sun's dipping down over the mountain. We got about an hour of daylight left. We're gonna get everything stacked up the way it needs to be. We gotta reconnect all the panels together, because if you don't, when that wind comes through, it's gonna pick some of them up and toss them over the hill. We don't want that. So if you enjoyed anything you saw today, or you learned something, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, join us, leave some comments. Come on back and check us out again at Break Hard Orchard. We'll see you guys then.